This is the Pulaski Planner, your retirement lookout. I'm Katherine Kirshner, and this is your guide to the financial strategies and career wisdom of public land professionals. Thanks for tuning in. Hey there, I wanted to talk about an exciting feature that was recently rolled out this week, January 28, 2026, that is going to be a possible game changer for tax planning for folks regarding their TSP. And that feature is the In-Plan Roth Conversion that is now available in your TSP. So it just launched, and this means that you can move money that has been shares that have been in your traditional bucket into a Roth bucket without that money ever leaving the TSP ecosystem. So let's talk about why we would do this. What is the benefit? So why would you pay taxes today if you don't have to? Great question. Typically, most people think that they're going to be in a lower tax bracket whenever they are retired, but that is not necessarily true. So for our federal employees, what you have to think about is your three-legged stool for your retirement paycheck, right? And your stool is made up of your FERS pension, which is taxable, and your Social Security, which, depending on where you live, it's also mostly probably going to be taxable as well. And then there's your TSP, which in the traditional bucket is also taxable. So your three-legged stool is mostly taxable income. And so when that starts coming, all of it, especially during your RMD years, people are surprised to find that they can actually be in a higher tax bracket as a retired person than they were during their working years, even their high earning years. So this strategy is basically a way for you to pay Uncle Sam now, lock in today's taxable tax bracket, so that during those years later, you have one of the legs of your stool, it has some tax-free money in it. So let's talk about the smart way to do that. All right, so you would start by going to my account on tsp.gov and clicking there to get started. Before we talk about too many details, let's do some high level what we're talking about. So this isn't actually a sale of the funds. They don't ever go into cash and then moving cash over. This is a journal entry of shares moving from one bucket, your traditional bucket, to your Roth bucket. Another thing, why is this such a big deal? Because in the past, you had to take that money out of TSP, put it in an IRA that was custodied somewhere else, say like Schwab, and then once it was in a IRA, then you would have to convert it there into a Roth IRA that was also custodied somewhere else, like say Schwab. And it's just a lot of paperwork and a lot of steps and a lot of transactions, and it's kind of a hassle. And so that's part of the reason why people just wouldn't bother with this. So, back to what we're talking about in terms of the mechanics of what's involved. So the funds are not ever turned liquid, meaning that they're not ever out of the market. This is good so that you don't miss any potential growth. It just goes from, C fund or G fund that was in your traditional, and now those shares are in a Roth bucket in your TSP. Another thing to understand is that you cannot pick and choose. You can't say, well, I want to convert all my G fund and I want to leave my S fund because there's been a lot of growth in that fund and I don't really want to deal with that tax problem today. Unfortunately, it doesn't work like that. You, think about like pouring cream in your coffee. Once it's in there, you can't separate it back out. That's how it is with a conversion of an in-plan TSP conversion. It's proportionally everything. So your contributions, your agency match, all the earnings, it all moves over proportionally. And then the last thing I want to have you think about is that there's a couple different ways you could do this if you thought this strategy made sense for you. You can make one large lump sum conversion at any point during the year, or conversely, consider doing a per paycheck conversion. What's the benefit of that? Well, think about, we like to talk about dollar cost averaging with investing, and most people, let me explain it this way. You wouldn't go to the gas station and fill up your car for a year worth of the gas at that price. Not only because that's not how it works with filling up your gas, but also because what if you accidentally paid too much and the next week gas was cheaper? But when we go however often we need to and fill up on fuel, the price of that fuel over the course of the year is averaged out. Sometimes we pay more, sometimes we pay less, but overall there's an average. The same would happen if you do your TSP conversions per paycheck. You get, sometimes the market will be up and your tax bill will kind of go up with it. And then other times of the year, the value of those funds will be down and you get a little bit of a break then. But over the course of the year, it'll average out. So that's one of the benefits to that strategy, if that makes sense for you. There's an important thing I want to talk about before we're done here. Okay, this is the most important thing you need to know if you were going to consider doing this yourself. You still have to pay the tax bill now for that money that's converted, right? So it's coming out of your tax deferred account. It's going into a Roth account, which is going to be tax free, which is why we're doing this, because the growth and the principal are going to be tax free when you finally withdraw that out of your Roth account. But to get it into the Roth account, you have to pay Uncle Sam. And the TSP doesn't allow you to do that withholding in-house. You have to pay that check to Uncle Sam yourself. And you want to do it with cash you have on hand, right? So this is the important part. So how are you going to do this? There's a couple different ways you could do this. You could do it quarterly. You could write like an estimated payment check to the IRS that way. But probably the smoothest way to do this so that you don't forget and don't accidentally have underpayment penalties is to go into, go to your MyEPP, go to Employee Express and adjust your W-4, right? You'll want to do the math yourself and figure out, okay, looking at my 1040, I know my marginal tax bracket. Maybe I'm 22%, maybe I'm 24%. And then per paycheck, how much are you hoping to convert, right? Do the math on that and say, this is what I'm going to owe on that money. And then just update your W-4 to do the additional withholding per paycheck. The important thing is you also have to, don't forget about your state taxes. Depending on where you live, you want to see what you owe there so you're not surprised with a nasty tax bill at the end of the year on that side of things as well. I know that was a lot. I hope that made a little bit of sense, but if you are interested in these tax strategies or you would like some help with tax planning and optimizing your three-legged stool for retirement, reach out to us. That's what we do. We help our clients plan ahead so that they can maximize their after-tax gain with their retirement paycheck, among other things. Hope this was helpful, and have a good one.